Level 1. New grad engineer. You make $250,000 a year and you still feel behind. You are 23 years old. You have a computer science degree from a school with a name that impresses people at dinner parties. You just spent 4 months in interviews, coding challenges, system design rounds, behavioral panels, a final loop with 6 people who asked you to invert binary trees while they watched your face. You passed all of it. You got the offer. You told everyone. Now you're sitting at your desk on your first week, and you realize you don't understand half of what's in the code base. The engineer next to you has been here 2 years. She doesn't explain things twice. The Slack channels move fast. You ask a question in one of them, and someone replies with a link to an internal doc you didn't know existed. You read the doc. It links to 3 other docs. You read those too. By Friday, you understand roughly what your team does. You still don't know what the team 2 floors up does. You write your first pull request. It comes back with 19 comments. You fix them. You push again. It gets merged. Nobody says anything. That's as good as it gets this week. This is the most you've ever been paid in your life, and somehow it doesn't feel like enough for San Francisco. Level 2, software engineer L3. You make $325,000, and you know where things are now. That sounds small. It isn't. In a codebase this size, knowing where things are is half the job. You own a module. Not a big one, but it's yours. When it breaks at 2 a.m., your phone rings. You fix it. You go back to sleep. You do this enough times that the on-call rotation stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like proof that you matter. Your tech lead reviews your code without rewriting all of it. That's progress. Last quarter, she rewrote most of it. She didn't say anything. You knew. You got better. You ship a feature that goes into the product that hundreds of millions of people use. You open the app on your phone, you tap the thing you built, it works. Nobody outside this building knows you made it. You know. That's enough. For now. The running thread starts here. There's a model evaluation project. Internal, unglamorous, the kind of work nobody fights over. It lands on your plate because you're new and nobody else wanted it. You start building the scaffolding. You don't know yet that this project is going to follow you for the next several years. Level 3, senior engineer L4. You make $655,000, and people ask for your opinion in meetings now. You give it. You're careful about how. At this level, you learn that being right isn't enough. You have to be right in a way that other people can hear. You have a junior engineer on your team. You review his code. You remember being him. You leave better comments than the ones you received. You think that matters. It does. The model eval project is growing. What started as scaffolding is now a system. Other teams are using it. You didn't ask them to. They just started. That's when you understand something about this place. The work that spreads is the work that solves a real problem, not the work that gets the most visibility in the all-hands. You file that away. The pace here is unlike anywhere else you've interviewed. The models ship faster than you can track them. The roadmap changes every 6 weeks. You learn to hold your plans loosely. The engineer who can't adapt to a shifted priority is a liability. You adapt. You're good at it. But you notice something. The people around you are getting better faster than you expected. That's motivating and unsettling in equal measure. Level 4, staff engineer L5. Your total comp crossed $1 million this year. You don't say that out loud. You think about it when you're on the subway and someone's reading a newspaper and you want to tell them, and you know you never will. You've been here 4 years. You've survived 3 reorgs, 2 leadership changes, and 1 very public week where the company was in every headline for the wrong reasons. You kept your head down. You shipped. Staff means you don't just own a system, you own a problem. The distinction matters. A system has edges. A problem doesn't. Your job is to figure out what the right system even is. You sit in rooms with researchers now. They speak a different language. Not English, not code, somewhere between the two. You learned to translate. That's what staff engineers actually do. They translate between what's theoretically possible and what's actually buildable by Tuesday. The eval project is now central infrastructure. The research team uses it to benchmark every new model before it ships. Your name is on the original commit, but that stopped meaning anything a year ago. 8 engineers work on it now. You're the one people call when something breaks in a way nobody understands. You always figure it out. That's not genius. It's just 4 years of context nobody else has. Level 5. Principal Engineer L6. You make $1.34 million, and you haven't written a line of production code in 6 weeks. That's not a complaint. That's the job now. You spend your days in design reviews, architecture discussions, and one-on-ones with engineers 2 levels below you who are better at their specific problem than you'll ever be. Your value is not your code. It's your judgment about which code should exist at all. The hard part of this level is that the feedback loops disappear. When you were a new grad, you knew within a week if your pull request was good. Now you make a call on a system architecture, and you won't know if it was right for 18 months. You learn to make peace with that. Or you leave. Some people leave. You're in the room when the decisions happen. Not all of them, but the technical ones. You know things about what's coming that you can't tell anyone outside these walls. That used to feel exciting. Now it mostly feels heavy. The models are getting better faster than the infrastructure can keep up with. You know this. Most people don't. You're one of the people who has to figure out what to do about it. Level 6. Member of Technical Staff. Your base salary alone is $685,000. The total package is something you still can't say out loud without feeling like a person in a film. But nobody here treats it that way. Everyone around you is making the same or more. The currency at this level isn't money, it's impact. Did your work make it into the model? Did your experiment change the training run? Did the thing you spent 6 months on actually matter? Most experiments fail. That's not a crisis here. It's the job description. You run an experiment, it doesn't work, you write up what you learned, and you start the next one. The researchers who burn out are the ones who take the failures personally. The ones who last are the ones who are genuinely curious about why it failed. You are genuinely curious. That's why you're still here. The eval project you built as an L3 is now part of how OpenAI decides whether a model is safe to ship. You found out in a meeting 3 months ago. Nobody told you directly. Someone referenced it in a slide. You recognized the architecture. You didn't say anything. Level 7, Director of Engineering. You manage 4 staff engineers and everything that means. You stopped being an individual contributor 18 months ago. Some days you miss it. Most days you don't. Your job is to create the conditions where the engineers under you can do the best work of their careers. When it works, you're invisible. When it doesn't, you're the one in the room explaining why. The decisions at this level are not technical anymore. They're about people and priorities and the gap between what leadership wants and what's actually possible. You spend more time managing up than you realized you would. You're good at it. You don't love it. The engineers you manage are brilliant. A few of them will pass your level within 3 years. You know which ones. You help them anyway. That's the job. The pressure here is not the same pressure as being on call at 2 a.m. It's slower and quieter and harder to name. You are accountable for things you cannot directly control. You learn to carry that. Most days, you carry it fine. A few days, you sit in your car in the parking garage for 10 minutes before you go inside. Level 8, CEO. Your salary is $113,674. You haven't had equity in this company since it started. The company is valued at over $300 billion, and your paycheck is smaller than the new grad you hired last Tuesday. You made that choice, and you'd make it again, and you tell yourself that every morning. You sit at the center of the most consequential technology project in human history. That is not an exaggeration. You know this because you've read the research. You've sat in the rooms where the research gets discussed. You've seen what the models can do now and what they will be able to do in 2 years. Most people will not believe you if you describe it. You've stopped trying to describe it. The weight of this job is not the board meetings or the Senate hearings or the competitor announcements or the press cycles that turn against you every few months like weather. The weight is the knowledge. You know what you're building. You believe it's the most important and most dangerous thing anyone has ever built. You are building it anyway because you believe the alternative, someone else building it without the same care, is worse. You might be right. You won't know for certain until it's too late to change course either way. The engineers in this building make 10 times your salary. Some of them make 20 times. They go home. You stay. The lights in your office are the last ones on most nights, not because you're performing dedication, because the problems don't stop, and you're one of the only people who can see all of them at once. The eval project from 12 years ago, the one that started as grunt work nobody wanted, is now part of the safety infrastructure for every model that ships. You didn't build it. A new grad built it. You signed off on the team that maintained it. That's how it works at the top. The leverage is real, and the credit is distributed. And the thing that keeps you here isn't the salary. You already told you that. The thing that keeps you here is that you genuinely don't know how it ends. And you have to find out.